Welcome everyone. Today we'll have a Dota Underlord item guide. We'll be looking at 4 additional items added after the patch. We'll look at strategies and tips to use those items effectively. And we'll be looking at builds that we can utilize them to the maximum potential, because those are great items. Let's look at the 4 items. The Helm of Undying will be a tier 2 defensive item, plus 5 armor, give the equipped hero 4 seconds survival after killing blow. Keep in mind the enemy will change targeting after this buff triggers on the unit, and what that happens is they might stun it with AoE stuns, but everything else will be avoiding it as much as they can with the targeting system. So this is a very strong tier 2 item. Followed by that, we have Braces of Desperation, a tier 3 item that is a support item that gives a full reset of steal cooldown and full mana to the unit with 30% health. At 30% health. So what that happens is, we don't even worry about the magic resistance debuff. So when that happens is you get full mana and you get full casting under 30% health, and that is so strong. It's the final flash for mages, but any unit you want. And we're going to be looking at this. This is so good. I'm not even looking at the 30%. Whatever there is already strong enough. The 30% is a bonus. Third item is a tier 3 item. It is a Approaching Knife. This is quite a bit of a snowball of item because it gives the equipped hero 30% chance to produce 1 gold when they kill enemy. Also, criticals against units with 20% or less health for 200%. So this item is a very small snowball item. When you find it early, you tend to make additional gold with your strongest unit, with AoEs and with mop-up heroes. It's a very decent item. Last item is a global item, tier 3. And it gives all healing reduction to 50% to you and the enemy. This is an item that is often underrated because there's still so many warlocks around, and also this item will work on the neutral round, which will help us with the lizards. But the double-edged sword is this will reduce our healing, which will go further in this guide. Let's have a look. Starting with the tier 2 item, we are quite comprehensive on this item because it is very strong. 4 seconds unkillable, and the target stretching is massive. And also, enemies don't tend to hex you, don't tend to stun you with Chaos Knight Stun because of that. And this can be great for 2 particular type of units. One is a spellcaster, one is a hyper carry unit. Let's go through those. With the 2 type of units, we also break the casters down to 2 type of casters. There's a damage dealer, which does the long time casting like Keep of the Light. Also, AoE stunner that needs to guarantee a spell casting, like the Conquer, maybe a Disruptor. In the damage dealers, the Shadow Fiend, even after the nerf, Shadow Fiend is quite decent in terms of its AoE, but it's a much smaller radius. So we could have a Shadow Fiend that's 1-star, 2-star, stationed at the center of the map. Using this helm, he will not be dying for 4 seconds, and he will always guarantee a cast unless he's stunned by AoE stun. And this gives pretty decent damage. And it's very strong. The downside with this is he will die after 4 seconds, but most of the fight is over once he casts a massive spell onto the enemy. Followed by that, we have the damage dealer with Keep of the Light, who usually casts 3 or 4 seconds, and he premature cast as the Gandalf, but don't worry, the helm is going to solve all his problems. That's my little joke. So as a frontline Gandalf, he is very deadly. He can be a 4-second untouchable unit as long as he has this item activated. Enemy will stop hitting him and they will pretend he's not there. But once he casts, he will be doing massive damage to everyone around him. And usually the 4 seconds is perfect. His maximum cast is 4 seconds and that's all he needed. The top thing about this is he will be doing massive damage at the start of the battle if enemy hits him, instead of at the end of the battle when most of the units are dead. It's better to mop them up early, so follow-up damage can proceed and less loss on our side. So it's a massive one. Knowing that, we can also consider Windrager, which is also a caster with damage, but she does not do as much AoE damage compared to Shadow Fiend as Keeper, and also most of her lineup will be with Hunters and with Elusives, and that doesn't amplify the magical damage. So it's a little underwhelming, but we can still try with her. With the casters with stunners, we have Medusa. Medusa can be 1-star and she can use this 4-second unkillable duration to cast a full AoE stun in front of everything. So here we're sacrificing her damage for instant AoE stun, which usually is working with a 1-star Medusa As a 2-star Medusa, you do want to give her some damage item to make her your damage dealer. With 1-star Medusa, I can turn her into a massive stunner by using the helm and in the front. Other stunners which will guarantee a casting will be Tidehunter, Tiny, Conquer, Disruptor, and Zenking. And often when they receive damage, they can be human silence, they can be stunned. But 4 seconds, the human silence will be removed and they can still be casting. And on top of the hyper carries we have for the helm, the candidates are Slug, Bloodseeker, Terrorblade, Troll Warlord. Those additional 4 seconds on those units, especially at 2 or 3-star level, can mean another 5,000 to 10,000 damage additional. And units tend to not target them after they have the 4-second buff, and they can go ham at the enemy. I've seen the 3-star Terrorblade just wreck my entire team within the 4 seconds, and he actually wins because he's the last unit alive within the 4-second frame. The units we still want to test with the helm is Arc Warden, Batrider, and Luna. Batrider can be very strong in the early game, that's when you use the helm on Batrider, and Luna at 3-star can work because she is very strong, but often she dies too quickly. So 3-star Luna with a helm can also work, but we're likely to want damage on the Luna. I wonder what happens on Arc Warden. I need a friend to show me. So does his clone doesn't die for 4 seconds, then he doesn't die? So it's gonna be an interesting interaction. So very curious. It'll be a super tank Arc Warden. Sorry. Next on the item list is the Bracer of Desperation. This is an S tier item for me. It can be a refresher or even better than a refresher at times. Because refresher only gives 50 mana after you cast a spell, this one will give you full mana instantly and refresh you. And this is very strong. Let's consider a unit that doesn't have enough mana gain. This item acts as a full mana item once it gets to 30%. It doesn't need to cast twice, it can cast once, otherwise it will die. But my brain's not working. But at other times, the units like Conquer, Disruptor, especially at 2-star, can cast the first spell before they reach 30% and cast the second spell when they reach 30%. And that is double bolt, double storm, and multiple castings. So this is very deadly. Tidehunter 2-star can also use this item. And on top of that, you can think of all the disablers. We can also go into units with a very long cooldown. We can have Lone Druid and Lycan with the double 2-star and 3-star bears and wolves, especially Lone Druid. He casts one, he's got enough HP to cast the second bear, and all of a sudden you're facing 2 2-star bears and maybe 3-star bears, and that is massive. This is also a tier 3 item, notice that, even stronger than a refresher. This item is likely to be changed into a purple item, I believe, in the future. So definitely make most use of it during this particular patch. For the mage lineup, or for a great mana gain lineup, Techi's Lich Gyro can also be game changing at 2-star with this item. Not only do you debuff enemy with a spell amplification, but they usually get enough mana with Crystal Maiden for the first cast. And with the second cast, they can be guaranteed to be casting once at 30%. So it's likely they cast at least once or maybe twice. Third item we have is Poaching Knife. This is a massive snowball item before round 15 if we place this correctly. With so many summoned units and Primordials with the new alliance that summons another one after death, we get facing lots of Venom summons, Lone Druid, Furians, Primordials, or even other units like Lycan that summons. Because of that, we can find 1, 4 or even higher gold in early to mid game where those summons are quite weak. What we want to do is we want to place this item on a key AoE finisher unit, or a 3-star unit which maximizes the critical damage potential. The AoE finisher can be Morphling, Beastmaster, Shadowfiend, Keeper of the Light, or maybe Techies. Anything we can think of that gets most of the kills on the team, we should give that to the unit. Also, keep in mind this is a mid-game item. The critical is only below 20% HP, so you will fall off its effectiveness after 26 round. But if you have been earning enough gold before that, you'll be rolling into your 3-stars, and this item is quite strong on the 3-star. We can go further. This item allows us to roll for units and also level up quicker with the economy. I have earned over 20 gold after making 2 of those Poaching Knife on 2 of the Beastmaster. So definitely check that game out, it's in the link below in the description. Very rich game actually. We can stack this item on Brownie CS, and this way the kills they gain will be giving us gold at a percentage, also permanent additional HP. This item has a really nice animation, so when you kill a unit, you see the unit explode in gold. That means you have secured extra gold. So if you look carefully, when you see a unit dies under the effect of the poetry knife, if they have gold coins popping out of them, you know you made extra gold. On the last of the 4 new items, we have Daoyin Rasu. This is an underrated item to counter warlocks and healing. This item is quite situational. It can be a double-edged sword, as we spoke earlier. We should be scouting enemies to see what builds they're playing. Usually want to look at the top 4 players with plenty of saving and enough HP, because those are likely going to be the one we'll be contesting. We want to be top 4 in this meta. If they are 2, 4 or 6 warlocks, then we could consider taking this item to counter them, because they will be banking on the healing for quite a bit. The deciding factor if we want this item or not is first we want to see our own and the enemy's healing scoreboard. You can see this by tapping over to see this, to see how much damage is healed with most of the units. And if we have any alliance or units that heals us, maybe the druids, maybe the warlocks ourselves. If their one is higher, then it's acceptable if we take this item. If we have higher healing, we probably shouldn't take it. Similarly, if we have warlocks, but how much does our lineup deal spell damage? Because warlock will help us heal with spell damage. If we're mainly hunters or warriors, there's not much spell damage. The warlock might just be here because of silence or because of this. So the lifesteal gain is from spell damage, and this really benefits the mages and scrappies, because they mostly deal spell damage with the cast. And also, do we or the enemy have any healing items? Life regeneration, like the tranquil boots, maybe the hood, those are quite minimum, but other items like mechanism can be effective. If we're reducing the healing AoE, this can be guarantee 1 AoE can kill the enemy, when other times this item can protect them from 2 AoEs. We'll be looking into the best builds for this particular patch. Right now we're looking at scrappies with warlock and mages. We're also considering knights, we're considering assassins. So let me know your thoughts, and if you have tested any builds, so let me know as well. Overall, this was a wonderful update, and having those 4 items can change the game drastically. With the mid game and early game, poetry knife is massive. Even in the early game, helm can go into the late game. We have been defeated or faced a massive Queen of Pain at 3-star that goes to backline and goes ham at the backline units because we can't kill her in those 4 seconds. Braces of Desperation is good with multiple stages, mid-game and late game, so definitely consider this item when you see this in the list. Sometimes I even avoid a tier 4 item just to take this item. Daoyin Rasu is going to be a situational item, but we should be on the lookout for it to counter the healing and also help us with level 30. Thank you so much for watching this short guide of items and what to use with them. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel for more guides, raid plays and builds to come for the new patch. Super excited. Please also follow and support me with subscribing on Twitch. Thank you so much everyone for your support.